I've been harsh on Vinland Saga these last few months, complaining about the Thorfinn and Gudrid relationship, the short chapters, the slow pacing, but this chapter was an overall breath of fresh air, and the best chapter in my opinion since the Sigurd mini-arc concluded. I've realised this distinction with contemporary Vinland Saga. The plot is boring and therefore intensive, plot-driven chapters suck, but the characters and character writing are all still great, and the character-driven chapters are awesome. And this chapter was more of the latter, as it was all about post-time skip Gudrid characterization and setting up her new post-time skip character arc. This chapter, put simply, boils down to Gudrid walking around town trying to find Kali who's wandered off. This is both used to set up a new character arc for Gudrid and is a subtle way to give little bits of exposition about the current situation and the state of the preparation for the Vinland voyage. It is made evident that Hild is still an incredibly talented craftsman and is helping in both these areas. Her gifted craftsmanship was established when she was first introduced and in her flashback, as she was basically a child prodigy in engineering, which is obviously useful for everything that's going on now. We see her make an oar for some of these former pirates turned pacifists that Gudrid seems to have an off-screen relationship with, repair Kali's shoes, make child-friendly bow and arrow toys, that's actually depicted in the title page, draw targets for them to shoot at, among other things that ultimately make Gudrid a little insecure about her worth in this expedition. In the face of this ingenuity from Hild, what does Gudrid truly offer the expedition? We'll get into where this is going, but before we move on, can I say that this character design looks quintessentially Vinland Saga to me, in an odd way that I can't entirely explain. Does anyone else relate in this regard? It's something to do with the beard, I think, but let's get back on track. Gudrid has enough self-awareness to not freak out about her own insecurities when she identifies them, and even realizes this is a problem internally with her and that she shouldn't compare herself to others in order to find purpose or worth in herself. But she still is intrinsically jealous. I don't think this is going to lead to her lashing out at Hild, creating conflict between the two of them, as we see in this chapter when, after thinking through this entire monologue, she encounters Hild and acts overly nice to her. But these insecurities will more cause some self-reflection and maybe acquiring of certain useful skills for Gudrid in the future. Ultimately, I'm just excited for some post-time skip Gudrid character development, as Gudrid has noticeably changed during the time skip, and exploring this change will be something new and interesting. Gudrid has started to embody the idea of people chilling out massively after getting laid. It's pretty evident generally, and with some personal self-reflection, that when people, especially teenagers, first get laid, they mellow out quite a bit. There's even media tropes around bratty teenage girls becoming more relaxed or womanly after getting laid. This seems to have happened to Gudrid off-screen. The Gudrid of old was very cynical and bratty at times in an endearing way, and for rightful reason. She existed in an incredibly patriarchal system where she was effectively sold off to be raped. But the Gudrid that cut her hair off to prove a point and wanted to become a badass sailor has become a more reserved and less ambitious mother and wife, who understands her emotions and has accepted life for what it is, and has come to peace with it. This is reflected symbolically post-time skip by the very hair she chopped off originally to make a point has actually grown back, and because of her new long hair, she now looks distinctively womanly, when she looked much younger when it was originally long. Where she goes from here is quite interesting to me, and what skills she acquires to mediate these insecurities will be interesting as well. But overall, the character focus here for Gudrid was greatly appreciated. Another positive I've gleaned from this chapter is that we seem to be getting the most predictable character and story arc in all of Vinland Saga wrapped up soon, as we seem to be fast-tracking Hild forgiving Thorfinn, and thank God for that. Part of Gudrid's earlier monologue in this chapter was her getting insecure at the possibility of Hild being in love with Thorfinn now, because in her own words, any woman would fall in love with him. But outside of the characterization that gives to Gudrid and how much she admires Thorfinn, it's supposed to indicate that Hild must have seen in her recent travels how great of a man Thorfinn is, and should be easing up on him now. Also, to corroborate this section of the monologue is that post-time skip Hild has looked generally more relaxed in recent chapters, both around Thorfinn and the group, especially at the wedding and such. This was all designed to lead the audience into thinking that she had softened on Thorfinn, and is slowly coming out of her vengeful mindset. But the ending of this chapter is supposed to shoot all of that down, as it looks like Hild, even if her actions don't seem to indicate it, is still very much full of hatred for Thorfinn. Gudrid's monologue and recent events were supposed to subtly be leaning you one way, while this statement from Hild at the end of the chapter was supposed to yank you back down to reality. But whether or not Hild is going to forgive Thorfinn seems like it will finally come to a climax soon, as this arc has been going on for a while and everything has to be wrapped up here, soon. Now, as many of you may know, I'm not the biggest Hild fan, but this approach from Yukimura works for both people who are big fans of Hild and those who are not. Because on my side of generally not caring about her, we are getting this seemingly obvious conclusion out of the way now so we can move past it and head to the climax. And to the pro-Hild people, they get some high development soon, so they're happy as well. It's a win on all fronts, and a clever way to incorporate both of the storylines in this chapter into the coming few, as Gudrid will see how flawed Hyld truly is in her burning hatred for Thorfinn and her lack of understanding of the importance of the mission and those around her. Besides that, the tease from last chapter with these exotic-looking fellows having an issue with Thorfinn's no-sword policy seems to be coming to a head next chapter, as at the end of this chapter they have confronted Thorfinn, which is why Hyld is here, waiting to see if Thorfinn fails pacifism at any moment, which would give her the excuse she needs to kill him. I'm not sure what the point of this sword ordeal is going to be, but seeing how devoted Yukimura is to his theme, I'm sure it'll have something interesting, new, and poignant to say about pacifism. Ultimately, that's all I have to say about Vinland Saga chapter 171. Let me know if you prefer these scripted reviews to the normal rambling unscripted ones. I've decided it's too risky to continue to just scroll through the chapter and periodically talk about the different elements of the chapter, as that's how my last channel got killed. And now that we have 100 more subscribers than the old channel, I don't want to risk it anymore. So either we continue with these scripted videos every month, or I can do more interactive PowerPoint unscripted videos, like the ones I do for Attack on Titan every month, where I stream the chapter review on Twitch and then upload it to YouTube later. Let me know what you'd prefer moving forward in the comments. Support links in the description below. Thanks.